I'll get these seat belts mounts off and I'll get the carpet out. Probably take these seat rails off as well, clean those up. But yeah, this is bolted straight to the chassis, so it should be captive nuts in the chassis. Right, I'm very pleased to be able to report that these seat belt bolts have come out without shearing off or ripping the captive thread out of the chassis. That would have been a potential disaster. So yeah, good. So I'll get the carpet out now and maybe take these rails off. Pretty glossy. Yeah, so these are cup washers, I believe, with a rubber washer underneath, which just sits in that recess in the glass fibre moulding and attaches the body shell to the chassis. So this should just prise out, I think. There we go. Yeah, so there's rubber inside a steel cup. Same on this side, I'm sure. Yep. I took the body off the car when I restored it, and I actually made plastic washers for the other side of the glass fibre, between the glass fibre and the chassis. Originally they had sort of fibre washers, and they were stacked in different numbers around each of the mounting points. I think there's something like 26 mounting points or something. There's a lot of them in where the body shell bolts to the chassis. Getting those off in the first place was a nightmare, but I did it in the end. And all the fibre washers were shot basically, so I made up a little mould and injection moulded my own plastic washers out of polypropylene. So I could then create little stacks of washers similar to the original fibre ones, but that wouldn't rot away in the same way. So they're still on the car. But the way the chassis sits, or rather the way the body shell sits on the chassis, you end up with different gaps around the body shell. So I think if you just screwed it straight onto the chassis with no washers, it would distort the body shell. So you have to put these packing pieces in the appropriate quantity for each individual bolt, and get the thing sort of level and unstressed, or relatively unstressed. Anyway, that's an aside. Let's press on. Out of interest, while I'm here, this rectangle here is actually a heat shield. Exhaust runs under there, and there are a couple of heat shields. So one here and one further back, I think it is. Between the supporting structures across here, embedded in the glass fibre, there's some kind of reinforcement. But where the fibre is thin, there's a metal heat shield. In fact, it's kind of sandwich of some sort. Aluminium on one side, certainly, and some sort of fibre board or something, like probably asbestos, on the inside. I was kind of half joking when I said asbestos, but it does look as if that might well be. The this metal shield here has got a sheet of steel on one side, but behind that it does look like asbestos, which would make sense back in the 60s or 50s even, when the car was designed. So I'm not going to disturb that at all. There's one there and there's one on the other side in front of this reinforcement section. So yeah, beware. So having got the seat out, I'm going to take the runners off and just clean them up as well. The trouble is, I'm pretty sure I didn't take them off when I restored the car 45 years ago. I also just left them on the body as I lifted the body off. But That means that the screws are really badly rusted. This is the only one that came out on this runner, but they're 1/4" UNF with a countersunk slotted head, and they're way too long as well. They poke right through the floor by about, I don't know, an inch virtually. So they're unnecessarily long, which doesn't help in terms of getting them out. But I say I ended up drilling these out, apart from the one that did come out. So that worked pretty well. They're relatively soft, so that wasn't too much of a problem. So yeah, this is not just a steel pressing, but it's got a countersunk, a little raised area and a countersink to take the screws, and obviously the slot and these little square punched holes where the adjustment on the seat locks in. So quite nice and simple, but yeah, I'll clean this up. It looks like it's galvanized. It's not badly rusted, but I think with a bit of a clean up, maybe paint the bottom, but probably not the top. Don't want to gum up the sliding mechanism. But the other thing which was interesting as I took it off, this came out, which is a kind of wedge-shaped piece of some sort of cardboard, basically, some sort of fibrous stuff. So I guess when the car was built, they used that just to adjust this up so it's horizontal. Otherwise it would have been leading downhill that way slightly, which probably would have stopped the seat from sliding. So I will keep that and either put it back or at least put something back that's similar, does the same job. Again, hand-built car, essentially. Semi-hand-built anyway. So, next I'll get the other one off on this side and worry about the passenger seat in due course. I've got some screws on the order, by the way. Got some stainless countersink 1/4" UNF. This time I've gone for hex socket heads, so that should be easier. So these slots are a bit of a pain, especially when they're jammed in and you can't get them out. Right, let's get the other runner off. Good, so this has arrived from Westfield Fasteners and should be the screws for the seat rails. Yeah, that's good. So those washers will go underneath the car on the underside of the floor, glass fibre floor that is, and I'm hoping that these are long enough. 1/4" UNF should be. Yep, 1/4" UNF A2 stainless, so not marine grade, but they should do the job. So yeah, that should be fine. So I haven't cleaned this rail up yet, but yeah, those are the original screws, and these should be good enough to replace them, and long enough as well. I mean, that should be plenty to get through the floor. They don't need to be this long. Just makes them more difficult to get out. Good.